You spoke movingly during the impeachment trial about how you texted your wife on January 6th, quote, "I love you and the babies. Please hug them for me." What is your memory of that day today? And what do you say to people who say it's time to move on?
Well, I would love to move on, Mehdi. I wish there was a day that would go by where I don't think about what happened on January 6th. So far, there hasn't been. And I've talked to my Republican and Democratic colleagues. They feel the same way. I've talked to the police and the staff who work at the Capitol, the custodial staff, the staff who serve both sides. And for most of us who were there, we think about it every single day. And it's because it was terrorizing. It was a threat to the votes that were being counted. And it was a physical assault on the brave men and women who stood guard that day. So I would love to move on, but I know that this democracy is on life support right now, and unless we resurrect it, we are going to lose it.
So, Congressman, when we talk about democracy and saving democracy and investigating January 6th, as we saw from those clips of McConnell and McCarthy a moment ago, and from a lot of the news reporting we've seen in recent weeks, there was a small window of time where we saw Republicans denouncing Trump publicly for what he did that day. They were finally, maybe, willing to turn on him. Why did your party take advantage of that moment? Why was it so slow to get round to first impeachment and then the investigation? Why has it taken 6 months just to get a simple select committee off the ground?
Well, we thought with Mitch McConnell that, of course, he would be on board, and of course, he ran out the clock on when we could send the articles over. We wanted to impeach and remove Donald Trump before his term ended. And as you remember, Mehdi, McConnell wouldn't even receive the articles. But I don't think we can punch hard enough. And so I'm with you on that. And I think history will look at us and say we didn't hold Donald Trump accountable enough, not that we were too hard on him, as we learn more and more every day about what he did while he was in office and what he's planning right now, telling people that he plans to come back, perhaps being reinstated in August. So count me in as somebody who thinks that we need to truly drive the stake through the heart of this demon to democracy by bringing sunlight and accountability to everyone that's sought to destroy it.
Congressman, you and your colleagues, Democratic colleagues, have made some serious claims over the last 6 months about the insurrection, about it possibly being an inside job, about GOP members giving insurrectionist tours. Do you still believe that to be the case? And is this new committee going to get to the bottom of that once and for all?
They better answer that question, Mehdi, because enough of us saw Trump supporters in the Capitol the day before or the days before the insurrection at a time when we were under COVID restrictions and only people who were escorted by members of Congress were allowed in. So maybe they were there for innocent reasons. That's certainly a possibility. But enough of us saw them that we should answer that question.
Just sticking with this new special committee, do you believe, which has subpoena powers, do you believe anyone should be off limits when it comes to the committee and its subpoena power? Kevin McCarthy, for example, House Minority Leader, we know he had a phone call with Donald Trump. One of his own Republican colleagues has said what it was all about. He's kind of never confirmed what happened on the day. Should Donald Trump be subject to a subpoena? Now a private citizen, but a former president. It would be unprecedented.
I'll leave that to the committee, but Mehdi, we invited Donald Trump for the impeachment trial, and he declined, which, again, I think goes to a consciousness of guilt. I think as far as Kevin McCarthy and who he recommends, I don't believe that somebody who was at the rally or somebody who was actively encouraging the insurrectionists in the days leading up to it would be an acceptable, panelist for the select committee. But that's up to Speaker Pelosi, and thankfully she ultimately can accept or reject anyone that McCarthy sends over.
Well, one of those Republicans who was at the rally who says the White House told him to go and give a speech is Congressman Mo Brooks of Alabama. You filed a lawsuit against Representative Brooks claiming that the speech that he gave before the riot helped incite the insurrection. He talked about taking names and kicking backsides. Your team argues that Brooks was acting in his personal capacity. His response is that he was acting in a professional capacity as a federal government employee, as a member of Congress. What's your response to that defense?
It's the modern Kool-Aid defense, Mehdi, that he was essentially brainwashed because he was told by the White House that he had to go, but for the White House telling him to go, he wouldn't have done it. Look, he's He's an adult. He's been in Congress for a very long time. He also has stood before many crowds, and he probably has never stood before a crowd like that, where he clearly is holding in his hands, I'm seeing in your B-roll, a prepared speech. Those words had planning, purpose, and intent behind him as he helped aim that mob at the Capitol.
Yeah, we'll have to see how your lawsuit goes. Let's just talk one last question, important issue here as we remember January 6th. Because January 6th, Joe Biden's put out a statement today saying democracy prevailed. It did, narrowly. The big fear is that next time around, it won't prevail. The insurrectionists will be able to overturn an election with their pals in Congress. What is Congress doing? What are the Democrats doing in terms of legislation beyond the For the People Act, which got stuck in the Senate, or the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, which hasn't even been voted on in the Senate? What are you doing to make sure that doesn't happen again? The kind of shenanigans that were going to happen on January 6th in terms of the certification of the vote. What are you doing to stop this all from just working come 2024?
Everything we can, and almost everything that the Senate has been trying to block. So first, funding the police so they can defend the Capitol. We've done that on the House side. The Senate is not, allowing it to go through using their filibuster rules to block it. Adam Schiff has the Protecting Our Democracy Act, which will fast track our ability to subpoena people when it comes before Congress, to hold abusive presidents accountable, to make sure that the Department of Justice, is able to hold an abusive president accountable. And I will also just say this to Joe Biden, that President Biden should instruct the Department of Justice to lift the ban on a sitting president from being indicted, because I think Donald Trump acted with impunity because that was in place. And Joe Biden clearly has nothing to worry about and should lift that so no future president can act in such a destructive way because they think they're above the law.
Hi, I'm Mehdi Hasan. Thanks for checking out our channel on YouTube. You can see more of the Mehdi Hasan Show by clicking on any of the videos on this screen, and make sure you subscribe below to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. Thank you for watching.